Hello and welcome to the episode of The World of Company Secretaries. The World of Company Secretaries is an interview show where we talk with different company secretaries and their success story. And this will help you to get motivated and become a company secretary very soon. Joining me today is a very special guest, C.S. Shanthan. Hello, Shanthan, and welcome to the show.
Hello. Hi.
So, very nice to have you on the show. So, before we go ahead, I would just like to give a brief introduction to the students and the viewers about Shanthan. So, as you already know, obviously, he's a company secretary, and that is why he's on our show, The World of Company Secretaries. Apart from that, Shanthan holds a degree from Madras University, and he has also done courses from the IIM Bangalore and the University of California. Besides that, he holds the coveted Masters of Business Law from National Law School. And besides all this, Shanthan is also holding green belt in Six Sigma. These are just a very few kind of things which Shanthan holds in terms of the qualification. In terms of what he does, Shanthan calls himself and also his clients call him as a business doctor. So, what does a business doctor do? And what is the role and how is it connected to company secretary is what we'll understand. So, first thing, Shanthan, uh, what do you do as a business doctor? If you can tell that, then we'll come to your journey of doing CS.
Okay, amazing. So, good evening, everyone. First of all, company secretary and business doctor, I'm sure there are two different extremes. And I'm happy that you're raising this question. How is that definitely connected? I can simply quote in this way: the world depends on business. So, what we started looking at was very simple. Entrepreneur journey is not easy for many. Few choose it and few are forced to do it. And if you look at market, more than 78% of them are struggling to be successful, and majority of them are SMEs. And for your information, they're bleeding. So when we wanted to understand where exactly they're doing, why they're doing, we understood the basic thing which is missing with them is a successful business model. So I'll just take 30 seconds to explain that in a simple way. Right from Ramdev Baba until Ali Baba, everyone are successful because of their business model. Then definitely you'll ask me, then why not Kingfisher? And maybe I can quote in a way what Mr. Bajaj said. Kingfisher is not successful because it doesn't have business model. It has only models in its business, because of which they fail. So we are in the process of understanding why business is sick, why business is not able to recover. So that's exactly why we came and come in. A lot of clients start calling it ourselves as doctor, because we start reviving this business. If there's a sick industry, we will try making it a profitable venture. If there's a company which has hit badly, we'll try recovering it back to normal. That's exactly why we call ourselves as business doctors, and we help companies to revive their success story.
So that's really nice to know. And also, I want to draw the attention of all our viewers that when you say company secretary, usually you think of a company secretary in a corporate or a company secretary in practice, but very few can connect company secretary as a management consultant. When you look at the company secretary course, yes, it is designed to be an expert in corporate law, but also we study every other subject. So you can be a business consultant and moreover a management consultant, and that is what CS Shanthan has got into the uncharted territory and been very, very successful. So, Shanthan, can you please share with us how do you think the CS syllabus, what you studied, is connected or is helping you in your role as a management consultant today?
Okay, that's a very nice question because I remember my dad asking this. Every time I said that I'm trying to understand new thing about market. When I want to do a new course in the market, he always asks this question: what actually are you doing? You're trying to understand simply new subject and a new course. Is it helping? I was trying to say him, if you look at entire arena of my qualification, anything right from masters in business law from NLS, or marketing analytics from UCB, or in IIMB, or with CS, or with BCom, one thing which he didn't understand was there is a common thread called as business. In
Exactly.
each of the term, I stood by myself to ensure that business is common, and that's exactly why I was doing. And even now, whenever I take a new certification, new course, it's connected back to business. Now, how is it doing and connected with CS? That's precisely how CS is helping me as a management consultant. When I took a course of CS way back then, right from a day, in the foundation until the final, there were so many papers, so many new topics, and every subject had 30, 40 chapters which are unrelated or unconnected with what I was believing. But only when I came to market, I started realizing today, whatever I'm trying to talk about, consult, and handle in any business, my roots are back in those subjects. People don't expect you to know everything, but for sure when you use the word consultant, they also don't expect you to say I am not heard of it. They want you to be at least aware, and they also want you to know ending. I want you to be specialized in something but know at least the maximum things. That's exactly what CS course did for me, because there are so many papers which are adding value in different arenas of your journey. When you start as a CS until what it is being run, entire journey you require one or the other subject being connected. The same thing happened to me. The moment I talk as a management consultant, my dealings mostly will be with directors or top management, or what you call it as KMP. And each of those personnel, when I'm trying to talk about, they come from different background. And trust me, I have learned no less than 50 different variation only in foundation to final as a course. In all the 50 different topics, you touch any topic, I might not be an expert, but I'll be in a position to handle it. So for me as a consultant, the route over there was strong enough as such.
Yeah, I think I'm very happy you got that point, and that will really make students understand that yes, when you're studying, you may feel that things are unconnected. You're studying something like economics in foundation level, then you're going to the company law, then you're having accounts, then you have costing, you have financial management. But in fact, if you look at what Shanthan is doing, I think he's one of the few people who's using all these subjects in what work he's doing now. Because even as a company secretary, you might not use as much a strategic management subject which we have, which somebody like a Shanthan uses now. So now let's just go back to how you started this journey, because so far we understood that you're a business doctor, or what we can call as a business analyst and a strategic consultant. So end of the day, you are proving that a company secretary can be a successful management consultant, which is the message we also want to drive to students. So how did you start this journey? In the sense, when did you think of taking CS, or how did you take CS?
Okay, that's something surprising, and I don't know if students definitely like listening to it. But yeah, now that you have asked the question, I'm surely throwing some light about it. The course CS, frankly, was understood when I was doing my plus one, plus two. Whenever we speak about the course CS, they used to say that, oh, it's like, a sister for a course like CA, because the valuation was always low. When we speak about CS, a lot of people wouldn't have heard. I'm sure that as a student, a lot of us would have heard that, oh, is it computer science? Oh, is it something related to engineering? Oh, is it something related to a course which is somewhere they drew that in a way where I was not very excited about. Then why did I do it? It was definitely not out of choice. I thought anyway I'm doing degree, one other professional course can add value. So I did it because I knew that regular MBA was already dead in the market. I wanted a professional course. So when I took this professional course, I was not very excited or not very keen. But trust me, when I took this course, I was happy for only one reason. In every layer, we had management papers. And that
Yes.
management papers was a killer to me because I was super excited when those topics were being learned. So by it was not definitely by choice, it was by force, I can call it. I entered this course. But this course fascinated me, and which is creating an excitement even for today. Trust me, even my membership number today is more precious to me than any other things as such. But that journey was by force, is what I can call.
Now, that's really nice to know. And what I can catch from whatever you said is that MBA was already dead when you took up CS, and that is why you wanted a professional course. I think that is the tagline every student should catch in whatever you said. So, coming to your days as a student, because see, now for anyone who's watching this interview or anyone who meets you, you come across as somebody who has his own firm, and you're having your own company, you're advising different clients from different sectors. you're a management consultant, yes, but you must have had struggling days as a student, especially while studying quite a challenging professional course like CS. So if you could throw some light on that, I think students will understand that they are going on the same journey and they are on the same boat like every one of us.
Okay. So maybe one thing which I did differently as a student was, for sure, the excitement for me was more on understanding the core rather than looking just for marks. See, irrespective of it, the moment you become student, passing or your target is always there. I'm not denying on that. Even I had targets that at least 60. For me, I didn't keep it as 50 because I know that when I write for 60, I'll get 55. So if I target for 40, I'll be ending at 35. So that's why I took a target of 60. So for me, 60 was important to ensure that I get it on the numbers and take it ahead. But for me, frankly speaking, I didn't study the way a routine company secretary student does, where you start from a first chapter, connect it with each chapter, understand, revise, where I looked at as a subject was very simple. What is it adding value when I'm learning? So that made sense when I'm learning, because that created an excitement. I'm sure, Alok, as the faculty, when you're teaching, you'll always be connecting with your student days, what you
Correct.
understood. Because a lot of time when I used to teach CS students as well, in between I had a stint about it, every time that got connected, because what I learned with the basic, with an example, with a reality check, with a practical life scenario, made more sense, and I still remember those things than those I studied for marks. So as a journey, it was definitely not easy. It was a tough time. It was nightmare, because I took a target of 60 and from there I need to cross it. But if you ask me, did I make it? I made it in one simple way. My average was between 55 to 65% for all the subjects. So I was able to clear throughout. But where I was stuck was when I went behind the journey of understanding the subject into real life, and when I'm running behind marks. That's a juggling every student will start going through. So my suggestion to them is, start studying to understand, and before exam, ensure that you are writing for marks. It should not be like you'll start for marks and then before exam you will start understanding, let me go with the knowledge now. That's a wrong conception, and that's exactly where we get stuck. So ensure the other way around. I'm sure you'll enjoy, and clearing will become much easier.
Yeah, so again, what I could catch from what Shanthan was sharing is that not only you're studying for exams and marks, but try to understand the practical side of law, which will also make it easier for you to understand and do well in the exams. Just before we go to the next question, in fact, I invite students to tune into Excel Academy every Wednesday at 7 p.m., where we discuss the practical side of law with different experts like lawyers, company secretaries, chartered accountants. So that way you'll get a good insight into the practical side of the law. So coming back to Shanthan and understand his journey, one common question students think that we have to pass in first attempt, only then we'll be successful in life. What is your take on this thought or myth which students are having?
If that was the case, maybe I would have stuck there only now. It's good to dream that, or it's good to think that I need to clear in first attempt. There's no error in that. There's nothing wrong in that as well. As a student, you should think that I need to clear in first attempt. Do not come with the intention that I need to clear in third attempt. Obviously, as a student, will not. Will always come for the simple reason. Right from first standard until 12th, we always never thought, if I don't clear. We always thought that I'll clear. How much will I score? But the moment we come to professional course, we are forced to think that, will I pass? So the bar of getting high score has come down to bar of passing. That's exactly where the roots of fear has begun. So where I look at it is, do not think about that. Think about how big you can make out of it and how strong you'll be able to make out of it. And that makes a bar to reach higher, and you'll be able to, scoop out of it. And for that, the strong confidence right from day one of your journey to ensure that you are trying to meet the path, and that will be much more confident than taking a traditional way.
Yeah, I think that's something every student or anyone who's watching should understand, that everyone went through struggles and all of us took attempts. It is not that only if you pass in first attempt you'll make it big in life. It's definitely just one part of it, but it comes to your overall personality, confidence, and stuff like that. So, Shanthan, can you please tell us how did you take the decision that you should be a management consultant? Because traditionally, it is for every company secretary to either go to a corporate or a listed company, or eventually start practice, or work somewhere then start practice. This is usually, if there are 100 company secretaries, I think 98 would do in this, or they would come under this bracket. When did you decide that yes, I can make it big even as a management consultant, that too having your own company? So how did that journey start?
Okay, so maybe I'll put this way: students also should understand in the recent past, last half a decade or a decade, company secretary has started evolving. Unfortunately, we go in search of two kinds of people when we qualify as a company secretary. One, the senior most; two, who has not qualified. Because these are the only two who will be available easy to meet. Those who qualified 15, 20, 30 years before either would be practicing or would be busy saying why this course is not worth. The second kind whom you will meet is those who are not qualified, because they are easily available in every nook and corner of your CS, institute, in your articles. Now, these are the students, they'll try cribbing and bitching about the course, stating that how this course can pull you down. After qualifying, you will be able to make only peanuts.
Hmm.
What you should understand is those who are qualified, those who are doing better, frankly, are not available in the institute where at a while you will be able to meet them. They are actually busy career, crafting their career, and actually they're not able to meet so easily for you as well. Unfortunately, we started talking to them and our perception started dropping. So where I started looking at management consultancy as my career was very simple. When I was, studying different platform, when I was in final, especially when you're in final, our journey is like half stuck. We believe in with one dream: tomorrow if I qualify, what should I do? That is one area of thought. Other, will I pass? In these two things we'll be juggling. And when I was every time thinking about it, there were a couple of seniors in my room as well. So these guys were ensuring that in a lot of companies they were working as auditors, they're working as CAs, they're working as company secretaries. Obviously a lot of debate happens. One of the debate which arose and brought me to this course was, it is a very interesting thing. He was working for one of the MNCs where almost around 1,800 employees were working in Chennai. Now, this is a company where he was working as an auditor, and he made a lot of difference to the company, and he had a good name in that company as a CS. When the debate started, he said that, look, I brought a lot of process to the company. I made a lot of management decision, and today the company's performance started improving, and this is because of me. So the argument went very simple. I said, I understand, doesn't matter what change you bring in, there's always one loophole which still exists. There's always one area which is not improved. There's always one area where we can still reduce the cost. He questioned, I bet you can't. My logic was very simple. Doesn't matter how much perfection we try achieving, there's always one more person who can still say that I'm better than you. That's how market is moving, and that's why market is busy running in the show. And that is the thought process for me, which bought in for an understanding. Let me take companies which feel that in trouble and let me help them to revive it, as a challenge. If you remember, I'm sure even you was doing this, you do this annual report analysis.
Correct.
So when I got his company's annual report analysis, I sat with all the subjects in final, whatever we did it. I took simple things. Let me take any of these section and see if this is being applicable in this annual report and see what else they have not done or what are the mistakes in. So my logic went, let me only look at the mistakes. And in their own annual report, I was able to point out at least 12 new things which they didn't do it. Now that was a starting point for me to say that doesn't matter if you're a CA or a CS or a CMA or even a simple BCom, for you what matters is if you're technically strong on your subjects and if your path is different from the others, I'm sure there'll be a lot of space in the market. So as a CS, I got qualified, but I didn't wanted to do the practice. Right from day one, 2013 is when I got qualified. Since day one, I applied for membership number, and since that day I got membership number as well. I was never of the opinion to do the routine practice because we have thousands of them that are doing routine practice. But management consultancy, there's a whole lot of requirement. IIMs do management consultants, CAs do management consultants, and a lot of professionals do a lot of management consultants. But as a CS, we rarely find them, and that was enough for me to say that why I need to definitely be in the path, and I think I'm happy about it.
Yeah, again, for viewers to understand is that See, there is a lot of uncharted territories. It is just about how you look at it, and it is up to you to take it up. Like Shanthan was sharing that when he came into the market, there were very few company secretaries who were doing management consultancy, and he was telling that it was primarily IIMs or your big MBA school kind of MBAs who are doing it, or chartered accountants. But the angle which a company secretary can get will be very unique, and that is going to really get you clients. And you can do a role of a management consultant also. You don't have to stick just to practice or for corporate CS role. So Shanthan, okay, you started, that's great, but what were some of the challenges when you first came about, when well, we are getting your first initial clients, or what are the kind of questions they were asking? So how was that time?
Okay, maybe I'll take this as a platform to also suggest one more thing. If someone is planning to be a management consultant as well, the starting point is not without experience. A lot of them have this thought process that let me start right from beginning to be a consultant. See, the word consultant or the word advisor is too holistic in nature, and people have to actually make them understand that whether you possess that knowledge, whether you're capable, whether you're expert. You can never be an expert until you're dead. But the question is, are you in the process of being an expert? Is more important for me. So the first couple of years, when I understood that I want to be in management consulting itself, I took up those roles of different company in the management position itself. I took a couple of positions as directors, as CEO, as vice president in different companies I worked, took the position, handled how management works, what a management expects, what is that they're looking forward, what are their struggles, and then I came to the other side of the story and started being a consultant. So when I worked as a management, part of management, I know what am I expecting and what are the other board of directors are expecting. And now when I sit on the other side of the chair and I answer, why do you think that I'll not be able to crack it? Because I read their mindset for years, and now I'll be able to crack it much easier about your thought process. So to ensure that you be a consultant, get some expertise. Work in those roles which you dream to be one, or which you dream to be as a consultant for those roles. That is when you'll actually get the gray area of it. And once you get a hold of gray side of the story, I'm sure that you'll be able to bang it for a longer time. But for that, that expertise matters by involving in it practically.
No, in fact, that brings me to my next question. Let's say somebody who's viewing this program, this interview, wants to be a management consultant. Can you suggest the roadmap? Of course, a roadmap can't be like a formula that everyone should follow that exactly, but a general direction of what kind of roadmap or steps they should take if they desire to be a management consultant.
Okay, so that's something I'll be excited to answer as well. If you plan to be a consultant, first thing what you got to understand is know what is your strength. As in, out of the 50 different areas which you are being trained on CS, I want you to take one specialized area. Rest 49 are the supporting characters of your movie. I just want to be one of the hero of those subjects. If you are able to pick one, for example, you believe tax, do not feel that, I'm not a CS, so can I be a consultant for tax being a CS? Do not even think about it. If that was the case, I wouldn't have entered this field as well. What you need to understand is what is your strength, which is the area which you are confident about. So that is the first step what you need to understand. The second thing is, once you understand what is your strength, or what is the subject, or what is the area which you are core confident about, start working practically in that. When you're working practically, I want two areas again to be understood. Point one, you need to have experience in company. You also need to have experience in the firm, because that gives all sides of the story to you. So that's an experience zone in practicing and in a company. Third, once you get that expertise, I want you to start writing your model about that business. As in, if at all you're supposed to enter, what is that difference you're trying to bring in by coming in as a consultant? For example, if at all you believe that one of the area in company secretary which you are thinking that this is a field where I'll be able to be a consultant, maybe a arbitration. If you take that as the field, you need to work in different areas to get experience. So, and you need to write a model or a area how you are trying to be different. In general management term, we'll call it as USP, unique selling point. Why people have to come to you alone and not to others. And fourth, and the most important thing, You need to ensure that USP is so heard in the market that this person is known for this and is excelling in this. And a fifth and the last point, result. It's not just about creating a model. Prove that into results, stating that yes, I will make a difference and make that difference. After that, whatever you speak, that becomes a law. Until then, everything is still on paper. So these are the 5 simple steps. If you want to be a management consultant, you can, but the field or the area of expertise is more important for you to get trained and come up.
Yeah, I think that was really nicely put. Shanthan, the next thing I want to ask and throw for you to throw light upon is what is the gap in terms of the scope? Like, what more can be done in management consulting? In the beginning of the interview, you said there's a lot of scope and there's a huge opportunity. But if you could give maybe some kind of data or some kind of proof for students to understand that this is a field where there is more demand than supply, and we need more Shanthans to come in this field.
Okay, so maybe yeah, that's pretty point to be considered, because most of us believe on stats. Most of us believe on the existence of it. In fact, as a consultant, the role and the requirement in this industry of a consultancy is $1 billion firm. As simple as that is what I can state it. Because companies like McKinsey, it might be Bain, these are the companies which are actually ruling the market. We still believe, frankly speaking, India is not matured enough to understand the word consultancy, because for us the word consultancy means is expensive. So we have not understood the word actually how consulting can make the difference to the business. So we believe that anything I know I can advise, so am I a consultant? No, that's not how the work, that's not how industry works as it. So why I said there's a huge scope, let me take it this way. Alok, can you just throw a number about how many companies are there in India?
So I think there are about 16 to 17 lakh companies which are registered as per the MCA.
So around 17 lakh companies are there, and partnership firm, it touches 1.5 crore. And in fact, they are trying to give a number stating that 52 million companies in India, in other terms, I can say around 5.5 crore companies in India are only SMEs. I'm not talking about the bigger scale. I'm not talking about, all-time big companies. So even the smallest scale, only SMEs, there's a record of 52 million. And I'm talking about when I started. And today we have touched almost around 75 million companies. Add to that around 7.5 crore SMEs. Now for 7.
So basically, you're saying there are around 7 crore or 7.5 crore different businesses in India.
Correct.
Okay.
So many such ventures are there in India under the bracket of only SME, which they are able to assess and get it into picture. The number is even mind blowing, which we are not able to touch. So 7.5 crore SMEs are there in India. And I'll give surprising stats. I initially told you the word 78%. 78% of that 7.5 crore companies are bleeding. This is the open statistics which is available with SMEs industry. If you, MSME industry, if you are able to score, it means 80% of those 7.5 crore companies are at losses. Why are they at loss? That's exactly where you'll be able to come in as a management consultant. So if you're able to look at it, 80% of the companies are at loss. That's one area. Second, India is known to be one of the big I startup area. If you look at Asia, Asia is one of those fastest growing startup companies or hub. And in Asia, Bangalore is one of the startup hub, or Karnataka seems to be Bangalore. So it's actually juggling and growing very fast. And it is going to be one of the Silicon City of the world. If that is the case, if you look at it, in last 2 years, more than 60,000 companies have registered. Imagine about other companies. And to the scale what it is growing, the surprising fact is within first 5 years, 92% of the companies which are getting incorporated are getting shut. On one side, 80% of SMEs are at losses. On the other side, the startups are failing. That is 92% of startups are failing in first 5 years. Now you can understand 9/10 of the industry is having a trouble. On the other side, if you look at management consultant, you can find top management consultant. If I can say top 5,000 management consultant, you can hardly find any. So in India, we have consultant. The word consultant, you can find 1,000. The word management consultant, you can find hardly 5,000. A CS being a management consultant, you can hardly find between 100 to 500. So I'm talking about 9, 10, as good as crores of companies and between 100 to 500 are the management consultants in the market in the name of CS. So that's as low as 0.00001% is what I'm talking. So that's a scale at which market is open for you to be a management consultant. Unfortunately, people are not trying on it.
So when we talk about numbers, the real picture gets revealed, and I think what Shanthan just shared is really massive. In fact, it's even news to me. I was really not aware of such a huge gap. Obviously, I knew the gap was there, but not such a huge gap. So the message to anyone seeing this, especially students, should be that if you have the desire to be a management consultant, and if you get trained, it is not just that I want to be management consultant, and you finish CS, nobody's going to call you and tell you to be a consultant. It takes a lot of experience. Even Shanthan was sharing. It was not that day one he started his own company. He worked in different companies. He was a director. He was in management role, and his experience of CS helped him. Finally, he started his own company where he's dealing with multiple clients in different sectors. So the message is very clear to all the students. The opportunity is massive. You being a company secretary, you'll give that unique angle. And like Shanthan said, there won't even be 100 or 500 in entire India who is doing management consulting. And some of the figures he told, he was telling about Bangalore, Karnataka. But when you look at whole of India, it is even much huger. And SME sectors usually suffer where they don't get the best of consultants, and the opportunity is really huge. And I'm sure all of you will be aware of it and explore it. So, Shanthan, now that we know the opportunity is huge, the next question is, what are the future trends that you see in your profession? I mean, as a management consultant, what else do you think is possible? What are the clients going to expect from you, and what are the future trends?
Okay. The future, what I'm calling now, is the future what Bill Gates told, 25 years before. Then, now, our future is technology. Unfortunately, if you look at all the CS across, India, if you're looking at how many CS are we having, Leobot, I'm talking on the super AI, artificial intelligence, Leobot that. I'm only talking about having a website, having an interactive portal. Having an interactive portal for CS student itself has become a big thing today. So hardly 100. So that is a scale as low as what we are trying to look at it. The scale of the future, what as a management consultant, where I'm looking, every second consultancy, what I'm trying to give it is about how they can go technological, how their company can be converted using the technology, how their revenue can be increased using technology, how their business model can be diverted using technology. How can we do it? Simple. If at all your business has to improve, when the starting point is your business process. The process we are designing in the form of technology. Once your process is done, the sales. Your sales we are tracking through technology. After sales, it comes your service. That service we're tracking through technology. And your entire business model itself, we are connecting back with technology. Imagine a lot of company secretaries when they're wondering what India filing is doing, that gives an answer to you like where exactly we are lacking. On one hand, there, India filing, I don't even know whether that's backed by CS, but initially they started, and today anything and everything you can find. Imagine one person thought that how technology can change, and a lot of CS are wondering, what am I doing then? That's exactly where I'm trying to say future is technology. In fact, it has become past. But if you delay technology in again now, you're out of the business. So
Yeah.
my future trend where I bank upon and where I'm dealing mostly is with respect to artificial intelligence and the technology. I suggest technology is the bar for us in future. Start working on it.
So, students, the message is very clear: embrace technology, and don't think like, how do I suddenly embrace technology? Of course, first you do your CS, have a clarity, but start acquiring skills. And as you go along, do other courses and embrace yourself with the best of technology. And that is the very clear message. So, Shanthan, we are kind of coming towards the end of our interview. So, now that students are studying and going through different struggles, etc., they often forget about the overall development, or the overall uh, perspective, or what you can say as personality of a student, and that is what makes them successful. So can you share what are some of the soft skills or the other things apart from your exam and studies which students should work on?
Okay. So one strong area, irrespective whether you accept or not, is communication. That becomes a base of everything. Yes, even I come from a small town. You call it as a village, but still you will be harassed for whatsoever reason when you're not dominating with your language. I understand that you should have your emotion and culture towards the mother tongue which you have it. I'm not denying on that fact, but learning should also be an aspect which is actually helping you for sure. So ensure that your communication skills are pretty strong. When I speak about communication, it is as good as writing a email, or sitting in a group discussion, or talking to your director or principal or anyone for that matter. Your communication is one of the base for it to happen. The second, you know train yourself on your attitude as well, because we say that's everything. How can I train attitude? Is there a school which teaches attitude? No, but you need to know what right attitude you need to have it. When I speak about attitude, it is as good as being polite, knowing about the basic knowledge what you're trying to do, and being truthful or honesty. So that's a basic attitude which you need to carry. And a third and the last soft skill which I would like to suggest you is, as Alok was rightly saying, that CS should be your base. Doesn't mean you leave everything. It's just like engine is the most important part of the car. Doesn't mean that I'll run without a wheel. So you need to ensure your engine is strong, best. But along with it, you start adding the features and feathers to it, and that makes a car, amazing. That's exactly where he was trying to say. CS is your core. Along with that, start tuning with respect to other skills. Might be technology, might be understanding a new subject, might be understanding a new area, might be understanding a new perception. That's important. I have heard most of them, sorry, I'll try going off track for a moment. I've heard most of them taking CS, BCom, LLB, and if there's any other course, add on. They'll believe that, sir, if not this one or the other course, I need to ensure I'll do it, so I'll get somewhere. That's the biggest mistake which you're trying to do it. Now you'll ask me, definitely, sir, even you did the same. Yes, I did, but I did all this after CS. The moment I got qualified, all the courses which I'm talking are after CS. Only thing which I did along with CS was BCom, because that was interlinked. That was something which can be easily communicated and connected back. So it was not difficult for me to take it. But when you are handling that, you need to understand you should not take multiple things at the same time. Sir, but LLB and CS is also interlinked. So common papers, can I take it? Yeah, the problem is you will again go for moot courts in LLB, come back to CS, and then you say that, okay, I need to do MSOP, then go back and write BCom exam. Then actually you don't know what is happening and where are you. So you need to ensure that one course is based. For example, CS, finish it off, and then take the add-on courses and try getting qualified. So you need to ensure that how the bonding has to be built and take it, and not everything at the same time.
Yeah, I think as Shanthan was saying that, I always remembered when students ask, "Sir, I'm doing CS. What else can I do?" First, finish CS, then you can do many things. And I'm really happy Shanthan shared that, because as a teacher or as a faculty, if we tell some things really don't go into the head of students, but when a guest or a person on an interview show like this tells, I'm sure it is reaching your head and it is reaching your conscience, because he said he did all these courses after CS. Learning is not a dead end. It's not like you finish CS and you don't touch any book or you don't study. You have to keep learning. And here's a perfect example of Shanthan doing so many courses even after CS and having his own company. So before we finish, what are your parting words for the company secretary students? So could you please share that, Shanthan?
I'm not a best dialogue giver, but for sure I can say this. Uh, Whatever I am, I'll not say 100% credit for CS, but I'll say it did add value. Today, even if I say CS or not, actually doesn't matter. But when I started, that two letters added value to me. Every time I sat in front of a director, the first thing what he judges you was either your past based on your history or based on your education qualification. The one thing which made difference to me was those two letters CS. Because when I sat in front of a director, he asked me, so what's your background? I told him I'm a company secretary. It's like, oh, that's nice. Okay, continue. That was enough for me to take a elevation. From there, I built my history, and today I'm known for my work. But I started my base with those two letters. Irrespective of it, at least I don't know how it adds value for anything else. At least for your invitation card, along with your initials, these two letters will actually bring a huge difference. So ensure that this is not just for credit, it's also it adds value. So one, with creating a wow factor. Two, it adds value for your different perception. And three, and the last thing, it did make difference for whatever I am today. I'm sure one day I would like to look around you stating that, sir, that made difference. If that's the case, I'm happy for it.
So I'm sure that will really motivate students and inspire them. So, like Shanthan said, CS will be a springboard which will help you across your life, whether it is starting your career or something as simple as an invitation card for your wedding one day in the future, or anything which you do. Because it's a professional course which will really give you wings to fly very high in the corporate world. So, thanks a lot, Shanthan, for your time. I'm sure students were very inspired. Thanks a lot for coming to this interview show.
Thank you. Good day.
So, dear students, that was CS Shanthan, who's a management consultant, and he shared his entire experience from right from being a student to how he chose management consulting, the different areas which you can practice in management consulting, what is the huge gap, and what is the scope which is there in management consulting. So, to watch more such interviews, please tune into the World of Company Secretaries every Monday at 7 p.m. on Excel Academy's YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to Excel Academy, your one stop solution for the CS course. Thank you.